Hey guys, it's Paul.
And Jestina Keys.
We are back with Netflix and No Chill.
Hey.
Show about Netflix for people with no chill. It's kind of a Halloween edition because we're still basically just waiting for. Let's be honest, we're waiting for Stranger Things, and we're just trying to fill things in between because Defenders ended well, and we're trying to find anything that doesn't remind us of Daniel Rand.
Spooky.
So this week we checked out The Babysitter. Do yourselves a favor, watch this movie.
It's so funny.
It is so good. For those who don't understand what's going on, this is done by McG. So if you are a fan of Supernatural, you will find the humor and you will love this show because it does have those very Supernatural-esque feel to it. That there is some level of danger, but there's a lot of humor injected. But it's not enough to completely take you out of everything. I love this movie.
It's so funny. And it's one of those movies where for the first 45 minutes you're like, what genre is this? What's gonna happen? What am I watching? And then all of a sudden shit hits the fan and it just goes.
For those who we're not going to go into our usual spoilers on this one because this is a movie, so it's not going to be one of those things where you may have gotten ahead of us on this kind of thing. So we're not going to go crazy into it, but the basic thing, and we're not going to spoil anything because you can see this in the trailers. The basic is we have a kid who is scared of absolutely everything, kind of a nerd person who is too old for a babysitter but still has one.
Yeah, he's 12.
Yeah, and he has a ridiculously hot babysitter.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous.
So as it goes. His friends are like, hey, bad, crazy stuff happens when you go to sleep afterwards because the babysitter invites over the friends, blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, okay, this doesn't actually happen. So she stays up, and what he assumes is going to happen does not happen.
Not at all.
Bad things happen. And yeah, everything goes terribly wrong. If you watch the trailer, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I loved this movie. This movie had way more heart than it had any business having. It had villains that you kind of pulled for most of the movie. Didn't completely... Well, there's a couple. And Bella Thorne's character you completely hated throughout the entire movie.
But I'm biased because I just hate her, so...
Well, yeah, but
she's stupid. She's no bitch.
And the Asian girl from Pitch Perfect, you kind of hated throughout the entire movie because they were pretty much evil. But
I didn't really hate her that much. Maybe just because of how much I hated Bella Thorne, but
maybe. But they were the typical hateable characters that you had. But King Bach did an amazing job in this movie. He was hilarious. Robbie Amell did an awesome job.
I love him.
He was the most psychopath of all of them, but you still kind of liked him.
You're just like, I think I'm supposed to hate you? Maybe a little bit? I don't know. You're kind of funny.
And the babysitter, you genuinely kind of pull for throughout the entire thing. You didn't like her?
No, you like her.
And
and you want her to have a change of heart, and you hope that maybe she does, and then...
Yeah.
She's not hard to figure out.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out. So it is very hard to figure out which side of this movie that you're going to be on. But that's kind of what I loved about this movie. It was just a fun movie. It's not necessarily a horror movie.
It's a horror comedy. It's like a parody. If you like the Scary Movie franchise, you'll like this.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Really? Because that's how I feel about it. I like the Scary Movie franchise.
Yeah, but Scary Movie, there's no real stakes involved.
That's right. This one has an actual plot as opposed to just being a parody of a movie.
Yeah. There's an actual plot to follow. It's very humorous, but there are some suspenseful parts in it. There are some actual jump scares and things. This movie does function very correctly, although there's not really a genre for it because it's not a horror movie, it's not a thriller, and it's not a straight comedy either. But it works. It works so well, and I loved every part of the movie. Every character has a reason to be there, and every character is worthwhile in the movie.
Definitely worth the watch. It's pretty funny.
And that's pretty much it. Next week, obviously, is going to be Stranger Things. So we're going to try our hardest for Stranger Things because it's one of those movies where we're going to want to binge, but we can't binge.
That's what you think.
It's one of those things where, yeah, like this format is rough because then we don't get to binge it, but we might try. Yeah, anyway. But do yourselves a favor. If you have like an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours to kill on this movie, do yourselves a favor and watch The Babysitter. It was well worth the sit down. This is a great popcorn movie. As long as you don't take it as seriously as the movie didn't take it itself as seriously, you should be fine. Definitely watch it.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty much it, guys. We will see you next week. And, of course, it'll be Stranger Things because, yeah, Stranger Things. It's going to happen.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. So,
I'm emotional.
Yeah, it'll probably get emotional, but yeah, the next 8 weeks after this will be Stranger Things. And that's pretty much it. Again, this is Paul.
And Jestina Keys.
And you've just been watching Netflix and No Chill. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.